What up? What up? What up, world? We are back. It's Wednesday. It's the Buy Sell Trade Show. I'm Anthony. This is Get Right Fantasy Network. A little under the weather here, but I wanted to make sure we got a stream out to you guys here, so bear with me. Believe it or not, it might be a short one, but I guess that'll depend on you guys, man. Make sure you drop those questions in the chat. Again, we're talking roster management tonight, buy, sell, trade targets. And we'll do a little Thursday night preview, start sit, and see how it goes. So, um, before we kind of get into that, I just want to bring up our sponsor here, of course, UnderdogFantasy.com. Uh, Use that promo code Get Right. When you do, they'll do a deposit match up to $100, 100% match, and they have their best ball resurrection going on. It starts week 6, $10 entry for a chance to win $100,000. So that's going to run week 6 through week 17. So make sure you get in there. Every week they also have their pick'ems, over unders, rivalry picks, who's going to score the most fantasy points or total yardage, over under on touchdowns. It's real fun. So again, check it out. You can win up to 20 times your bet. Again, when you do, use that promo code Get Right, and good luck to you. So, one last thing, of course, I want to give a big shout out to our affiliates here on Get Right Fantasy Network, the Checkdown podcast. They were on earlier tonight. We hope you check them out. Our guy Cody and Pat and fellas over there holding it down on Wednesdays, sometimes Tuesdays and Thursdays. They'll throw a show up. They go on once a week. And then, of course, check out our boy Colin over at WAGMIFantasy.com. You could follow him on WAGMI Fantasy on Twitter. Has great articles, great website. More importantly, get that newsletter, sign up for it on his website. And then if you guys are with us on Monday, you heard the big news. We have another show joining the network, Tim and AJ with the Fantasy Frontline. So I believe they have a show that's going to be dropping tomorrow night. Their first one affiliated with us. Check the description. Their links are there. Make sure you go out there and subscribe to their channels, man. Help support our affiliates here. And we'll keep bringing you that content and bringing you guys, degenerates just like us to help you guys bring home these fantasy championships, man. What's up, Albert? How's it going, man? We're here, man. So you guys got any questions in the chat? We'll be taking them here throughout the night. Any questions you have for me, especially, if it's trades, that's the name of the show tonight. But we'll answer a couple start sit, I guess, if you have those. We always get them. So just drop them in there, and we'll go from that. So let's start it off with the question, man. What's up, Will? He says, I was offered Jonathan Taylor for St. Brown and Eli Mitchell. His receivers are Mike Evans, Jamar Chase, Keenan Allen, and DJ Moore. So let me know if it's three wide receiver or 2 wide receiver and a flex. I say do it personally. I'd like to really know who your running backs are. Obviously, you're down Mitchell, who I assume was probably your RB2. So to me, I think it's a perfect time to buy low. On this type of guy, you didn't have to spend that type of capital. Mitchell, we don't know what's going to happen after being gone for 2 months. When's he actually going to be relevant again? The fantasy season might be over by then. St. Brown, is definitely worth it. But typically you'll take the running back over the wide receiver in a lot of cases. So in this case, I'd say do it. Looks like you do have the depth, especially if you're, hurting at running back there. So, and he says 2 wide receiver and a flex. So I even lean more running back that way as well, too. So, yeah, man, I'd say go for it. Get those lead options. I mean, he has been underproducing, which is the only reason why he's actually available right now. And if you've checked out, last week's show or checked out my other shows, I'm always trying to buy guys when their value dips, especially if these are like untradeable type guys. If someone's even thinking about trading them, you go get them. Like, as long as you're not completely wrecking your team, in this case, I would go get that option. And you kind of live with the result. I mean, what else can you ask for? So I take that all day. We got Warrior. What's up, Warrior? He's saying, yep, do it. So there it is. And saying, what up? And then he's asking rest of the season, Melvin Gordon or Breece Hall. That's a tough choice, man. Based on, if we're just going strictly based on like how they've been playing and how they've looked up through these 4 weeks, I'd say Breece Hall. just because he looks just kind of like the better athlete. He's younger. The chances of him, of course, getting hurt, or if he does get hurt, he should bounce back, quicker, obviously, depending on the injury. And their offense is going to be behind. We didn't really see a drop off in targets to the running back that we were, maybe thinking when Wilson came back in. So it was nice to see that. So for me, I take my chances with Hall and see where it goes from there. I think they put the ball in Wilson's hands. I mean, they paid him what, 230 million. They need him to put that team on the back and throw the ball. So what's up, J Media? Saying what's up, Ant? How about the Niners? Let's go, baby. Let's go. I can't wait to just waiting for this next week, man. So we're looking good. I like it. Will Hayes is saying Jamal Williams, Josh Jacobs, Stevenson, Montgomery, Herbert, Melvin Gordon are his running backs. I think you're fine with Josh Jacobs. Man, you had Montgomery and Mitchell go down. Yeah, that's tough, but you do have Herbert there. You still have Gordon, who, obviously is relevant. I'd say to definitely go get JT. You're kind of just lacking a true RB1. These guys can produce RB1 numbers, but it's nice to have that JT guy that you could just kind of put in there. And again, if he starts having any kind of good games, you can trade him off and turn that into something else. So I definitely go get him, man. Hit accept or send the offer and get that done. Let me know if you did. All right, man. We got Drew Lar in the house. What's up, Drew? He's saying, would you trade Dalvin Cook and Christian Kirk for JT, half PPR? Now, this is where I might kind of draw the line. To me, this is giving up a little too much. You kind of have one of those elite kind of running backs in Dalvin Cook right now. So to me, that is giving up a little too much for just JT. I'd try to see if you can get something else with JT on there. Maybe you can get like a D Hop, at least like maybe even take a flyer with Jamison Williams. I mean, that would be like scraping the barrel, but you want to get some other piece there just to kind of, even that out if that's what you're trying to do. I think Minnesota, there's still going to be points to be had there with Cook. He's still kind of one of those kind of set it and forget it type guys. Does have the shoulder kind of lingering, but JT obviously has this ankle kind of lingering. And when it comes to running backs, I'd rather have a running back dealing with a shoulder injury versus a ankle injury. And Christian Kirk's kind of playing out of his mind right now. So, I'd personally stick with Cook and Kirk if I could, or try to put together a different package depending on what other running backs you have. So, and you're saying he doesn't even start for you. I mean, if you're stacked like that, I mean, if you want, I'd still try to get another piece though. So, is what it is. Let me know what you do there. Jamie D saying, if I drop Michael Carter, will someone else pick him up in my 12-team PPR? So J Media, I play in a 12-team standard in my home league, non PPR. My boy Christian Frank, dropped Michael Carter. I instantly dropped Allen Robinson for Michael Carter. He stayed on the waiver wire for maybe about 45 seconds. I just had to check and make sure Carter didn't get hurt, like on the way to practice or something, and that's why he was dropping him. He did have Breece Hall already, so he needed to make some other moves. I see why he dropped him, but I definitely went and got him. So I think someone probably will pick him up off waivers. I mean, if people are trying to pick up Mike Boone and Latavius Murray, they're going to grab Michael Carter for the same exact reason. He's a handcuff, if nothing else, that will produce if Breece does get hurt, especially if they start using him more. That's going to increase his chances of getting hurt. If he does, Michael Carter comes back in and he'll be a nice RB2. We're saying thanks. Talking about the Niners, would you start CMC versus a tough Niners defense or Jamal Williams versus New England? Man, that's a tough call as a Niners fan, as a CMC fan, but also you can't deny kind of the numbers. I believe Jamal Williams is like RB6 overall right now in PPR against New England. I mean, he's going to get 20 plus touches. We don't know what's going on with that with that Carolina offense. I mean, CMC's still been doing his thing, but I think, we've seen what Williams is capable of. I mean, they're literally back-to-back. McCaffrey, RB5 overall, PPR. Jamal Williams, RB6 overall. I'll take Jamal Williams. That's you can't. You have to start CMC. I can't do that to you, man. Because if I have CMC and Jamal Williams, Like, I mean, I'm sorry, like, who's your other running back? Because if not, I'm probably sticking with both those guys, especially in PPR, because they'll just have to throw to CMC if they actually throw to him, and he did last week. So we'll see. What's up, Dim Boys? Dim Boy saying he would stick with Cook and Kirk as well too. That's a little tongue twister. All right, so J Media saying start Geno Smith at New Orleans or Carson Wentz versus Tennessee. Um, I'll take my chances with Wentz versus Tennessee. It's a little easier matchup, I guess you would say. Do have to worry about Dotson being hurt if he's going to play this week, but obviously, you know, you got to kind of worry about that New Orleans defense, that secondary. Obviously, Marshawn Lattimore is going to be on, Metcalf, so can Lockett and some other pieces do anything? I think it's a tough matchup for them this week. I'd probably go Wentz over versus Tennessee this week if you're in that situation. Dim Boys disagrees with me. He says Gino, and I was already reading the next one. And Dim Boys is saying Jamal Warrior over CMC. So we're just going total opposite right now. So he's saying he has Chubb and Pierce as well. So to me, if you're telling me you got Chubb, Pierce, CMC, and Jamal Williams, I'm going Chubb and CMC. It's hard not to start just the two of them, regardless of matchup. Those guys are just RB1s, so we'll see. What's up, Rafi? He says, tell me Gabe Davis will bounce back this week in a nice matchup. Yeah, man, we're all looking for Gabe Davis to bounce back. And I don't know if you did that on purpose or not, but you teed me up perfectly, man. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button if you're watching right now. If you've already subscribed, hit that like button for us. It's just as important as hitting that subscribe button, because when you do, we are going to give away this signed Gabe Davis jersey. Here's another look at it. Nice and beautiful. And just hit that subscribe button for us, man. We're going to get to 600. When we do, we will raffle this thing off. So tell your friends, maybe friends that are just going to get interested in fantasy football. So you're not giving away your source, I guess, right now. We've heard that's kind of been an issue. But again, we appreciate you guys supporting us. So we want to do our little giveaways here for you guys. So that should be nice and exciting. So I want to see Gabe Davis bounce back, man. I don't know about anybody else, but to me, it's time. We need another good game out of him. Obviously, he's been nicked up with the ankle. I think that has a lot to do with it. We have, of course, Crowder down with the broken ankle. We have McKenzie kind of in the concussion protocol. So it's going to be Diggs. It's going to be Davis. They should eat because that offense is still throwing the ball. So let's get it. Let's get it done. Let's go, Gabe Davis. All right. So Dim Boys saying he was leaning Williams because they have a better offense. Yeah, and it's tough, man. So it really is. But I can't sit CMC for Jamal Williams. I couldn't do it. That's just tough. It's probably the smart thing to do. I can't do it. So he's saying thanks always. And Dim Boy is saying we got 78 subs left. So keep the questions coming, man. Keep the chat going. We're talking buy, sell, trade tonight. So again, we're taking your questions live here on Get Right Fantasy Network. Again, make sure you hit that subscribe button for us. We're trying to get to that 600 subs so we can give away that Gabe Davis jersey. I'd love to see a Gabe Davis bounce back, but he's not banking on it. So he's not feeling it all the way. It has to be there, man. Target's got to go somewhere. We've seen he could just blow up and win you a week. I think he's not that consistent, just wide receiver 1 or wide receiver 2. He's a boomer bust by definition. You just kind of want a piece of him, because if he goes off, we've seen what he's capable of doing. Not everyone can do that. Not everyone's in that type of offense, and not everyone has a quarterback like that that can get him the ball. So, I think it has a lot to do with that ankle. I think they need to get him healthy. I think having him out there more is like a decoy. Once he gets back to healthy, I think he'll produce. All right. So while we're waiting for more questions to come in here, and again, I'm kind of under the weather here. I'm trying to pull myself together on a bunch of NyQuil right now. So, we'll see how long I can tough it out here before I start coughing all over the place. I'm surprised I haven't already. But when we talk these trade shows again, if you guys are new watching this for the first time, I want to just kind of get into something I kind of want to mention every episode that we do this, and that's trade theory. So when it comes to trades and you're getting in these leagues, especially if you're new to fantasy football, or maybe you're new to a league, um, obviously the first name of the game is buy low, sell high, right? That's just sales in general. You're trying to you're trying to find value in guys that you can buy low, according to their relative value, maybe capitalize on an owner who's panicking or needs wins. So again, that's the next kind of important thing to do is trading from a position of power, understanding what type of record you have will let you know and kind of dictate what type of trades that you'll be able to, make or, negotiate from either a power position or a position where you're going to have to pay a little more to get, what you're looking for. So again, that's really important is understanding kind of where you stand in the trade. And then of course, what that other team that you're trading with, if that trade makes sense for their team. Taking their running back one, if they have a hero RB build, probably isn't going to be conducive, for that player. If they took a bunch of running backs, trading two for one running back for them isn't really going to do anything. Find out, hey, if you drafted heavy wide receiver, they drafted heavy running back, that those are the type of teams you're trying to target to make a trade with. So again, this is just very basic stuff. I know, most of you guys in here know this stuff already, but these are for the newer players that are checking us out here for the first time. And then understand like when you're making a trade, how it's going to affect you. Are you looking for like a temporary like band-aid, type, trade to where you have guys coming back and you're just trying to bridge a gap? Or are you trying to actually set your roster up for the playoffs? If you're one of these 4-0, 3-1 type teams, maybe you're starting to look ahead. Can you trade some of these guys off, get some value? Me personally, unless a trade makes sense, you kind of want to hold off for as long as you can. But at the same time, getting someone like JT now, if he pops off for 3 games and is, top 5 RB, no one's trading him anymore. So he's going to be off the market. So you want to try to capitalize on these dips in the market, so that you can, fill out your team. And again, this is all risk. Like you want to put yourself in a position to where, you can boom. Because in my case, if you're not first, you're last. So, that's how I feel about that. Some people, this is kind of a touchy subject. Some people are pro trading for injured players. Other people are against trading for injured players, just because, of course, obviously if they're hurt, they can remain hurt or chance for re-injury, or maybe they just don't produce like they, would have, because now they kind of have this lingering injury for the rest of the year. So, you know, just kind of pay attention to that. Me personally, I love trying to buy guys that are hurt. Obviously, not ones that are completely hurt, like obviously where they're kind of done for a good chunk of the fantasy year. But like this JT situation, if they're saying it's a low ankle sprain, if it's not a high ankle sprain where he's out 4 to 6 weeks, again, then you want to, buy into that. It could come out, next week that it's a high ankle sprain and he's out 4 to 6 weeks and they're just kind of, playing games. But that has to be a risk you're willing to take. You have to understand that that is for sure a possibility because these teams aren't, very candid with their injury reports. So you just try to, get out there and find a lot of information that you can. And of course, again, there's just risk built into that. But to me, if there's no risk, there's no reward. So again, I like to try to go after those guys, myself personally, but I know there's other people that just say it's not a smart idea. It's worked both ways for me, but that's just me. So, again, any questions you guys have or thoughts on that, anything you want to add or that you disagree with or agree with, let me know in the chat. Let's see here, getting caught up. Let's see. So Dim Boys was saying, got to take that name off the jersey. Sometimes Anthony, regardless of CMC being CMC, that offense is atrocious. But guys still score points, man. CMC's never really been on a great offense, I guess. Unless you want to say the Super Bowl year that they went. But other than that, I mean, he still produced and was being taken as a top 3 back, clearly understanding what type of line he's been running behind, because he's just kind of been that dude. Obviously, the injuries have piled up, but to me, it looks still fine. They got to figure things out. It is still early. I couldn't bench him for Jamal Williams right now. Again, even though it's the smart thing to do, most likely, I just personally can't do it. So, that's just me. I won't keep going on that. So let's see here. I don't know what he was feeling the same with on, but we were agreeing on something there. But Will Hayes says, would you who would the start of the week be? Jamal Williams, Josh Jacobs, Melvin Gordon, Khalil Herbert, Ramondre Stevenson, and if St. Brown is out, which one should I flex? Or who would start this week out of those guys? Who do we have? Where's my hey. Sorry for the dead air time, guys. I thought I had my matchups up here. All right, so we got Jamal Williams, I know, is going up against New England. We got Josh Jacobs going against Kansas City, Melvin Gordon. Who are they playing this week? See, this is why we do start sit usually on Fridays. My bad. I haven't really dove into the schedule here yet. So I don't know it right off the top of my head. It looks like Denver's on a bye week because I can't even find them. And Khalil Herbert, Chicago's going against Minnesota. I do remember that one. And then, of course, Ramondre going against Detroit. In this one, I would definitely start Jamal Williams out of that first group. And if St. Brown's out and you need to start another one on top of that, I would probably take, man. Yeah, maybe I go Melvin Gordon there. But you're not going to know if St. Brown's out by the time you need to play Gordon. So if you have to scratch that, maybe I would just go Khalil Herbert against Minnesota. If Montgomery's still out. So give me Herbert and Williams, two top 10 running backs right now. There you go. All right, Rafi says, I picked up Pickens and Dobbs. I have to drop one to make room. A-Rob, Ayuk, Edmonds, and Madison. You had me at A-Rob. Just drop them, man. We were talking on Friday. I wanted to just kind of coordinate like a mass Allen Robinson just drop, but I ended up doing it today. Finally, man, I ripped the Band-Aid off. I can't keep keeping them in my lineup. Just pumping me out. Not a lot of stuff. I feel more comfortable with like Josh Reynolds right now over A-Rob. So yeah, A-Rob would be the one if you're wanting to keep those two. Them boys saying A-Rob or Madison, flip a coin. I'd say A-Rob, just because Madison still has value. So is what it is. What's up, Martin? Shout out to the Dynasty Pylon. He was on earlier today. Appreciate you shouting out the stream there. We have him in here saying, hey, Ant, just want to swing by. Can't stay long, but we hope you have a good stream. I got to get some college work done, man. So shout out, burning the candles on both ends, putting in the work on all sides of the table. So again, big shout out to them. Make sure you go check out the Dynasty Pylon. Subscribe to their channel over there, IDP Dynasty. That's their expertise. So definitely go check them out and understand I'm taking down that Dynasty Pylon Guillotine League. So get that jersey ready for me. Dim Boys is saying, would you trade away Godwin and Everett for Jamal Jacoby in 2023 seconds? I assume that's Jamal Williams. I would say personally, no. I mean, if you really want those 23 seconds, I mean, I'd rather keep Godwin. I mean, I think he's only 26. He just signed the big contract, obviously coming back from the ACL. You know that, Dim Boys. Everett's old. Jamal Williams, I think he's 29. Just kind of a perennial backup. Jacoby Myers, we've seen flashes here and there, but I don't think he's going to do anything this year. I mean, we'll see what happens next year. And then you got those 2023 seconds. I mean, you are getting 4 for 2. So, again, I guess it kind of depends on your build. But personally, I think, you might be able to move Godwin for a little more. I think you'd be selling him a little low right now for that package. That's just me personally. If there's some kind of young piece in here, like give me an Algier or a Lave, like give me something in this. Like if you're going to give away Godwin like that, I want some type of young, unproven wide receiver that might be something down the road. And like take away Jacoby and I mean Jamal if you need a guy this year, but that's just me. I think he's still talking about Carolina with that. Let's see here. So Rafi saying, I really want to drop A-Rob, but they're already talking about forcing to get him much more involved because the cup show isn't working. Yeah, I mean, I'll just pay my fab or waste a waiver claim on him to pick him back up later. I mean, maybe I'll panic later, but he stayed on my waiver wire. Like, I can't just justify holding him right now for whatever reason. So, especially like for me in my case, I would have held him if Michael Carter didn't become available. Like, he wasn't worth anybody else. But as soon as Frank dropped Michael Carter, to me, that was worth swapping out A Rob for. Denver's playing in Indy tomorrow night. Thank you, Dim Boys. That's why it was just the first one. All right, so J Media saying, Ant, why is Kyle Pitts the Pitts right now? Sheesh. Yeah, man, we kind of were telling you guys that all off season. I mean, I know Mike was screaming it from the mountaintops. Classic Mike. Shout out to him. He'll be here on Friday when we do our start sit show. He and I. But we were kind of telling you guys, it's not a great offense. Like, they're going to try to take him out of the game. They understand he's one of the targets. London needs to produce a little more, and Mariota just for whatever reason is not getting him the ball. I mean, they're trying to target him, do this and that, but it's just not working out. So, I mean, you obviously got to hold him. Are you going to start streaming tight end over him? I think you got to, with what you invested in him, kind of got to roll him out there every week just because of the potential. Otherwise, I mean, unless somebody like drops like Goddard or Ertz or, Fairmuth or somebody like that, you're kind of stuck with them at this point. I mean, if you want to start, streaming Everett or Hurst or somebody like that, you can. But I mean, he still is just a tight end. He's not a Hurts, he's not a Kelsey at this point. So again, that's why we're just saying we're not investing that third round pick, on him. So I apologize, for you guys that got him, but I have zero shares of Pitts. I mean, in Dynasty for sure, but definitely not for redraft this year. Tight ends aren't really good till they're like 25, 26, like for whatever reason. I don't know what that is. So anyway, Dim Boys hooking it up. Shout out to the ambassadors that get right here. Make sure you guys check out the Dynasty Pylon, everyone. Dropping the link in there. So yeah, make sure you give them a follow. And again, check that description to follow our other affiliates in here as well. So make sure you check us out. So Jamal Williams most likely won't be back until mid-season next year. Oh, are you talking Javonte? Jamal Williams is playing right now for Detroit. I thought that's who he was talking about. Okay, yeah. So you said never mind. I meant Javonte. Okay, my bad. But yeah, Javonte torn ACL, PCL, LCL. It's all shredded. Similar or even worse than JK. So, unless he makes a miraculous recovery, they're hoping he might be ready by week 1 next year, but he might not be ready for the first month or so. So sucks, man. I had him as my keeper. All right, what's up, John Stewart? Should I give Naji, Renfro, and Collins for Singletary, Gallup, and Thielen? No, I wouldn't. I don't think it's a good enough running back that you're receiving in return for Naji, even though I'm not that big on Naji. I kind of wouldn't be in this situation. I don't really have too many Naji shares, if any, that I have in any of my redraft leagues. Renfro's coming back. Collins, obviously, you got to replace Renfro while he's been out. And, I mean, Singletary, Gallup, Thielen. I mean, I assume Naji was your first round pick. I can't do it. I would need a better running back. Who's his running back 2 on his team? If that's his running back 2, you need to make him put his running back 3 in his RB2 spot to get Naji. So you need to take his RB2, if not his RB1, and you guys swap that way. I mean, I do like Gallup and Thielen more than I like Renfro and Collins. It's just too much of a gap on that running back. I think you just need to put that volume in that position and, just hope it's not going to be efficient, but you just hope he produces in that offense, especially with Kenny Pickett coming. They might design getting him the ball a little more, kind of take the pressure off him. We'll see. They got a tough matchup this week, going up against Buffalo, I believe. It's a tough way to kind of start your first career start. So maybe that's why they got him like a half to work on last week, so he wasn't just too shocked, going up against Buffalo and throwing against Josh Allen in your first game. How about that? Pretty crazy. Good question. Keep them coming. All right, man, we got Benny in here. What do you think of Zeke and Deontay for AJ Dillon and Pickens? I'll take the Zeke and Deontay side of that. just more so because of Deontay. I mean, Zeke is still getting the work there. Dak is going to come back. Hopefully get the offense, firing even a little more. You know, Dylan is going to have his role. He's great. He's still startable. Low in RB2, flex every week. We'll see what happens with Pickens. He's a little lottery ticket. We'll see. It depends if they fall out of favor with Claypool or not. And, maybe Pickens has some, chemistry going with Pickett. So there could be some opportunity there. But as of right now, heading into week 5, I'd still take the Zeke and Deontay side, but that's just me. Could also get Dobbs over Pickens. I'd still take the Zeke and Deontay side. I could probably get Pickens and Alec Pierce instead of Jacoby. Would that tip the scales for you? Yeah, I mean a little more. Like if that's what you're wanting to do, like if you're trying to move off of Godwin in that way, like if you're not feeling he's going to come back and be relevant the next couple years. I mean, obviously we have to wonder what's going to happen with, Brady obviously looks like he should be retiring after this year. So I don't hate the idea. I understand what you're trying to do there. I would just almost, see if maybe you can get Godwin, one of those pieces for just like a first, 23 first, possibly. Maybe if you wait it out, Godwin puts up a couple good games, you could make that happen. Or take the 2 picks and, Pickens for Godwin. So, I mean, if that's what, you're trying to do on that team. So, yeah, shoot me a screenshot of it. I mean, I'd love to see what you're working with on that one. Anyway, we can finish that offline. Dim boys. All right, for first subscriber, you got the direct link. All right, man. J Media is here saying I'm going to be using my 4-place waiver. So claim number 4 on Ertz, who just got dropped. I'd say that's worth it for sure. If you don't have like, obviously Andrews or, Kelsey, Gertz is good. I'll take him. Number 4. Do you have open waivers like after the claims run, or is it just waivers every time, or is it just because he got dropped? I'd like to know. But yeah, I probably wouldn't clear waivers. Hopefully, those 3 guys ahead of you don't want them either. Good luck. Let me know how it goes. Oops, my bad, Mark. What's up, Mark? Welcome to Get Right Fantasy Network. If you guys are watching, make sure you hit that subscribe button for us. If you're already subscribed, hit that like button. It helps us just as much. We're going to get to your questions here. Mark saying, I traded DJ Moore for Devonta Smith. Was that a good trade? Yeah. I mean, if you're not feeling DJ Moore, I understand why. Not really producing. We're not really seeing the, light at the end of the tunnel. I mean, we've seen what he can produce, even with the subpar quarterback. It's there if they just design the offense to get him the ball. Like, he's just not getting targets, which same reason, like, why is CMC not getting targets? They're throwing a ball, it seems like, to Tremblay or whoever that tight end, or Ian Thomas. They're throwing it to him more, than DJ Moore and CMC. It seems like every time someone's catching the ball, it's him. But to me, I don't hate it. You're going to get boom or bust out of Devonta Smith, depending on, how Hurts is, dealing that day. Touchdowns are going to be hard to come by just because, they do get their running backs involved in the goal line. And of course, Hurts, is there as well too, between Hurts, Sanders, Gainwell. We've seen already score a couple close TDs. So unless, Devontae scores from, ways out, obviously he's the smaller of the targets between he and AJ Brown. But, we've seen what he's capable of as far as putting up, PPR, points, getting those receptions if they're in that type of shootout. So I don't hate it. I mean, if you're looking for a change up in your lineup, whether it's a good trade or not is just more relative. Are you happy with it? If you are, which I assume you are because you hit accept, that's what it's about. You want to play fantasy with guys you like, that you feel confident starting or having on your team. You don't want to kind of look at your team and be like, oh, why do I have this guy? Just have fun with it, man. So there you go. And John's agreeing. He said, yeah, Mark, that was a good trade. Benny's agreeing as well. So I'm glad I'm with the majority there. All right. Lucius is in here saying, we got 2 questions here, 2-part questions. Well, Lucius, I already know you're subscribed. I hope you hit that like button. And it because you did, or if you do, I'm gonna make sure I get to these 2 questions here for you. So Conklin or Kyle Pitts, I assume we're saying Are we talking trade or are we talking start sit? Michael Pittman or Ramondre Stevenson. So I assume it's probably start sit is what you're asking. You have the Jets going up against the Miami defense this week. And then you have Michael Pittman going up against Denver's defense this week, or Ramondre Stevenson going up against that Detroit. Obviously, Harris is still there. Half PPR. Give me Conklin and give me Pittman. Done. Done. Benny, I do it for Dobbs, but not for Pickens. So there you go. I'm getting some extra 2 cents there. So that was this question here. Zeke and Deontay for AJ Dillon and Dobbs. I just don't like it because they're on the same team. I don't like stacking that wide receiver running back combo. So yeah, that doesn't move the needle for me quite that much there. All right. So what else we got here? All right, we got Mark in here with another question. Keep them coming, guys. All right, more complicated question. All right, I like complicated. And for even more complicated questions, if I can't get to it, make sure you guys hit that description. Right at the top, it should say join the Get Right Fantasy Network Sleeper channel. When you get in there, you can actually just start a thread, rate my team or, this trade or that trade, whatever topic. And then you can go into the comments, put a screenshot of your actual team in there. Myself, my other co-host, and a bunch of the great fantasy minds we have here in the Get Right degenerates. They'll all come out, answer your questions, give their 2 cents. So a lot of good minds, giving you feedback on your rosters, on trades, what they think. And it's better than like going to a, random site or group. You're not going to get the trolls. You're not going to just get people making fun of you or, saying you're stupid or why would you do this or that. All people there trying to help you out. It's a great community. So make sure you get in there. Again, first subscribe, then hit that description, get in there to the private Sleeper channel. If you're new to Sleeper, create your handle, create an account, and then come join us. It's a great little app. We do our mock drafts during the off season. Those are a lot of fun, culminating with the tournament in the month of August, our mock draft tournament of champions. So yeah, check us out. Check out our content here on the YouTube channel. And again, if you're already subscribed, hit that like button for us. So with that said, Mark, all right, here's your complicated question. He says, my team is Jared Goff, Mixon, Etienne, Diggs, AJ Brown, Goddard, Mike Williams, Romeo Dobbs. Then on his bench, he has Aljair, Devonta Smith, Pickens. What running back should I target? So these are a little tougher to answer, and it might be a bit easier to take this offline. But if you are looking for another running back, which you kind of are, you'd much rather leave that ETN more to a flex, an RB3 type guy. But if you can, maybe move, I think he might honestly be fine, at least for the next couple weeks with Algier. I think if he maybe goes off or has, a couple good games, maybe you trade him off before Cordero Patterson gets back, or depending on how the news, is shaping up, maybe he keeps the job, a la, Damian Pierce, and he runs away with it. And you have that, weekly RB2 that you can kind of, throw in there. Um, you know, other than that, it's going to be a little tough because you don't really want to break up that receiver corner. I like what you have going on there. Um, I think you're okay. This is just a typical hero RB build. You had one of your lotto tickets pay out, in Algier. So you just kind of ride that wave and then just keep, playing that waiver wire to make sure, if any of these, running backs, come back, maybe somebody dropped Eli Mitchell. If you don't have IR spot, something like that, then you spend your fab or use your waiver claim and you kind of get the next guy you could ride out, for the next couple weeks. I expect hopefully by the end of the year, Etienne has a role and he's at least RB2 or flex worthy. I still want to give him a couple more games. I think, the stats that Agnew had last game should have been Etienne's. So I'm just interested to see, what they do this week there in Jacksonville. So they got to get this guy going, man. He's explosive. So I think you hold pat, man. I think you're fine. Of course, if you can, go after someone, go ahead. But I don't want to really break up, what you kind of got going on there. So sorry for the long response. Just kind of thinking that all through. But yeah, there it is. All right. Dem Boys was agreeing with me saying Conklin and Pittman for Lucius. Um, let's see. And Dim Boy says it was our Get Right League, Anthony. Oh, is that the league that you're asking these questions in? Oh, okay. I see you. Oh, that's right, because I did trade you Godwin. Oh, you might not be able to get more in that. That league's brutal, man. Bunch of sharks in there. It's our Get Right Dynasty League. Shout out to the Get Right Dynasty League, man. Commissioner Awkward Shark Dad. We got all the OGs in there. We got Nee, we got NYG guy, Dustin, myself, Frank. Shout out to Ryan and a Rover. Shout out to the Fantasy Tycoon. Shout out to who else is in there, man? I'm leaving a bunch of people out. I apologize. I can't do that. Sheesh. Sheesh. Who else we got? Who else we got in this league? I felt like I named everybody off. We got KJ Flint, we got T Dizzle, we got Cowbeck, another one of the four horsemen. We got them all in there, man. I think that's all of them now. I was just forgetting those guys. My bad. How do I forget KJ and Cowbeck and T Dizzle? My bad, guys. My bad. But yeah, shout out to the Get Right Dynasty League, man. That's tough league. Tough league to be in right there. Your boy is trying to take it over there. Trying to take it over. All right. So what's up, Jordan? Welcome back. Hey, I grabbed Pickens and Dobbs and dropped Garrett Wilson because I'm pretty sure Zach Wilson sucks. That's tough, man. I think I'd rather have Wilson over Pickens right now. I think Dobbs is a good pickup. I mean, Wilson kind of looks like he could be a number one. You know what I mean? And he just needs to get some work with Zach. You know, obviously he got hurt early in the preseason and hasn't had time to kind of develop that chemistry with Wilson. You know, we've seen what he's capable of, man. So again, guys that flash like that, I mean, you kind of give it. I mean, I don't disagree with you that Zach Wilson kind of sucks, but I mean, he can't really be that much more worse than, you know, Joe Flacco. So, I mean, he should still be able to get him to produce. Their defense is okay. You know, they put up fantasy points. Let's put it that way. So, I think I'd rather have Wilson over Pickens, but I don't. You know, I'd rather have Dobbs than Wilson, I believe. So, let me know what you guys think. At Mark, he's saying Jamal Williams or J.K. Dobbins if you can. So, I guess they're just asking each other. Do you expect J.K. Dobbins to have another big week? I don't know about another big week, but I definitely, you know, we've seen how their rushing increase once they got J.K. Dobbins back. I think he's only averaging like 3.2 yards per carry, but I mean, what do you expect in his first kind of start and first kind of full workload that he got? I think he's definitely RB2 worthy. I wouldn't mind starting him this week. You know, you kind of live with the result. You know, if you do put him in there, just remember you've gotten by, you know, so far this month, you know, without him. I mean, if you're on 4, you know, if you have better options, obviously start him, you know, or take those options. But to me, I mean, I wouldn't mind throwing it in as my RB2. Definitely as a flex, I'd feel good about it. Yeah, I mean, and they're playing against Cincinnati, so I mean, they should be able to run. So, yeah, this is what it is. I mean, I don't know if he's going to go. Touchdowns are so unpredictable, but I think he'll get 15, you know, 20 touches. So, anyway, we got Dedicated in here. What's up, man? What do I do with Pitts? We were kind of talking about him earlier. If you have somebody better, you could stream him over, you know, stream him. Otherwise, you got to just keep starting him. Again, this is why, you know, if you're listening to us during our Friday night mocks when we're giving out our mock grades and, you know, giving our feedback and rankings on our weekly drafts and mocks, we were kind of fading, you know, Pitts at where he was going. You know, obviously the potential's there. We see it. It's going to take some time. We didn't think it was this year. You know, just pretty much it was late, you know, later great. So if you didn't get one of the top 2, then I wasn't touching tight end, you know, until 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th round. So for me, I mean, you just gotta kind of hold him. I mean, or trade him if you can. I don't know what someone will be willing to pay for him, but if you can get, you know, like a wide receiver 2 and, you know, some type of tight end that you can, you know, throw in there, maybe you can get Schultz since he's kind of been hurt or you know, didn't produce last game when he was active. Maybe you can get Schultz and, you know, some wide receiver. You know, maybe try for a little package like that if you can. Otherwise, you know, you spent draft capital on him. Kind of just gotta, you know, wait it out. Maybe a little more than, you know, 4 weeks. Give him a couple more weeks. You know, if you have an okay record, you're 2-2, 3-1. I think you can roll, you know, keep riding. If you're on 4, you know, you might need to do one of those trades. maybe not taking a Schultz. We don't know if he's going to produce right away. Maybe you just stream tight end, still get that package, and just kind of stream tight end until Schultz gets back. So, it's kind of all dependent on your team build there. Make sure you, if you want, get in that private sleeper channel, upload a picture of your team, or even the other teams in your league, and we can maybe find a team to match up with and maybe negotiate a trade. Keep it coming. Appreciate it, Dedicate. Thanks for subscribing. All right, we got Benny here saying I say wait, but also depends on whose waivers. So I think he was talking about one of these questions up here. Let's see what else we got. Depends on what you want to spend, Mark. Aaron Jones, Fournette are guys that will probably get better and be fairly cheap because of slow start. So Dem Boys was talking about Mark over here saying which type of running back should he target. So Dem Boys was saying, like an Aaron Jones, Fournette, who's kind of been underproducing, even though Fournette did have kind of a bounce back game this week. It was strange he lost the goal line work to Rachaad White. That was kind of interesting. If he's on your waivers, make sure you grab him. I would definitely grab Rachaad White over Allen Robinson right now. Let's go. Hashtag drop A-Rod. Hey, Rob, drop in. All right. Anyway, let's move on here. So who else we got? So Mark's saying, or he's asking Jordan, but he's saying, what should I offer for Jamal Williams? Remember, Jamal Williams, Swift is going to come back, and it will go back to a split. He's still going to be flexible, but he's not going to be the guy he was last week or this week. Then they have the week 6 bye, and then Swift should be back. So he'll still be a good handcuff. He just may not be like RB2 or RB1 worthy, like if that's what you're looking for. So basically, when it comes to this question, is not much. You want to offer not too much for Jamal Williams. Again, it kind of depends on league format, setup, scoring, things like that. But, don't overspend. Like if you have a lotto ticket or something that you can give to him, you're kind of trading, for a little bit of backup, and, you give him like maybe a wide receiver 3-4, type guy, that's what I would try to pull off. Otherwise I would just kind of maybe wait for the next, running back to come off waivers. So, I wouldn't spend much for that type of running back. If you're going to spend it, go get, one of those other targets, an Aaron Jones, Leonard Fournette, Jonathan Taylor, like try to shoot for someone like that, as long as it's not breaking up your team. So, or even like a Dobbins, I'd rather have Dobbins over Jamal Williams, because at least you should get him for the rest of season. And again, you guys, Gus Edwards was practicing. So if he's out there, bench stash, go grab him, because anything happens to Dobbins, maybe Gus Bus comes back in and would be the handcuff to own there. So again, Gus Edwards, I believe, started practicing today, or cleared for practice. All right, so yeah, so Dobbins will have more big weeks. The question is just which weeks. Yeah, so it's going to be unpredictable with those. Why do you not like stacking running back and wide receiver? Any other rules you have for players on the same team, like stacking quarterback, wide receiver, if I can? So yeah, if I go for stacks, I'm usually going to go quarterback, wide receiver stack. Stacking is not that important so much as it is like in best ball. Like that's where kind of the term stacking kind of comes from, or these, big tournament, daily fantasy type, fantasy football. When it comes to like your redraft leagues and stuff, I'm just kind of like, I'd rather kind of diversify your funds, so to speak. You don't want to kind of put all your eggs in one basket. If you have your running back and wide receiver going up against, a tough matchup that week. Again, it's not that big of a deal. Like, I don't know if there's been like studies on it so much per se. I know in the best ball world, stacking like a quarterback with the wide receiver 1 doesn't really change the win percentages. It's more so when you're stacking like your quarterback with a wide receiver 3, 4, or even the tight end, because you're kind of getting a little bump if they were to score and kind of go off. But again, that term stacking, and when you do that, it's mainly in those best ball leagues, because you don't have to pick who to start. So that's, kind of where it is. So for my redraft, leagues, I don't like having the running back wide receiver combo. And again, that's just me personally. Um, but again, at the same time, I've I've had it. Like if those are kind of the best players available, I'm not going to not have them or just split them up for no reason. But what I usually like to do is just try to trade one of them off. So like for example, I'm in a situation this year where I have Mike Evans and Godwin on a couple teams. Um, I also had last year Higgins and Jamar Chase on a team that I actually won the championship on. So it's not that it doesn't work. It's just, and it's not like they're not going to be started because if they're on somebody else's team, they're obviously going to be started that week. It's just that offense has a bad week or that quarterback goes down or something like that were to happen. It kind of affects your whole team. And you're kind of like the advantage you gain isn't really worth, that difference based on what you could potentially lose should something go wrong with that stack. So I just kind of like diversifying if you can. So Rafi's in here saying, I'm excited for Algier, been holding him just for this day, as everyone knew Patterson wouldn't stay healthy. Rafi, I am with you. Tyler Algier is my number one exposure on my underdog fantasy best ball teams in over 60 best ball leagues. And on 38% of those, which is my number one exposure, 38% of those teams out of 61, I have Tyler Algier on my bench. So I'm happy about that. And just a little update on those. I do have 2 teams right now on my underdog fantasy in the puppy 2 that are first place in my league. So things are looking good on those 2 teams. The other one's not so much, got a couple seconds, couple thirds, a lot of 7th through 12ths. So we'll see what happens as the season rolls out. But yeah, definitely waiting for this Algier thing. And I hope he just keeps the job, over Cordell. But if he doesn't, produce or, isn't looking good, Cordell will come back in about a month and take that job. So that there is a downside to that. It's not all gravy, but it happened a little sooner than I thought it was going to happen. So I'm excited about that part of it. Not that Cordell got hurt, but just that Algier got his opportunity. All right. So Jordan here saying I have Williams, Amon-Ra, and Hawkinson. I'm triple stacked. And again, there's times where it's not bad. When you get the right stack in there, like last week, well, Amon-Ra didn't play, but if you had Williams and Hawkinson last week, it was a nice game for you. So again, it's not that they don't work, and they do work in these best ball formats and daily fantasy, so it does work. You kind of look for those, games that just have a high over under because there's going to be points in them. The whole idea is in daily fantasy or, in these big tournaments with best ball, you don't need to play the bad matchups if you don't have to. Like if there's a low over under where it's 2 good defenses or 2 bad offenses playing, you don't need to start one of those guys because it's not all spread out. You're picking your lineup so you can stack a Williams, an Amara, and a Hawkinson in one league or in one team, and it would have worked because they scored, 45 points this week. So, it does work. So I'm not totally against it. Just personally, and then of course bye weeks and stuff like that. It just kind of puts you in a weird little situation sometime. So, yeah. And he said I could even start Jared Goff if he wanted to. So he has all Detroit. Do you have Jameson Williams too? I hope you got him in your IR spot there too, Jordan. Got to complete the circle there, my guy. Complete that circle. All right, we got the Joker in the house. What's up, Joker? Ramondre Stevenson or Jeff Wilson Jr. for the full PPR flex. Give me Jeff Wilson Jr. right now. I mean, that is his backfield. Obviously he is splitting with Debo. So I mean, you could argue, but again, they are playing against Carolina. I expect them to be up. I expect them to beat them. They should be able to run the ball and get away with it. I expect them to have 15 to 20 touches. Hopefully, he scores a touchdown for you. Scored the longest touchdown run of his career, 32 yards last week. So, and again, full disclosure, I am a Niners fan. So go Jeff Wilson. All right, so we got starting Jamal Williams as his running back. So I assume that's his other running back. So yeah, give me Williams and Wilson there for you. Thoughts on Cordell? I think he's done for good. I don't think he can have knee surgery and come back to getting 22 points a game. Yeah, and he had like knee surgery like immediately. Like it was like the next day before we even got a word on it. They were like, "Yeah, surgery's done and he's already recovering, and we're gonna put him on IR." I was like, "Whoa!" Like they got that done immediately. And again, at 33, 32 years old, you don't recover like you used to. So it could be longer. And again, if Algiers balling out and they're still winning, maybe he comes back to a limited role. Maybe they play him more in a wide receiver role, if anything, and give Algier the backfield. And they use, Cordell more in that kind of scat back, person. Cause again, it's just London and Pitts, so maybe that opens up Pitts a little more, if Algier, capitalizes on this opportunity. So it could just be good things overall, for Atlanta. So, again, I think there is some potential there. Personally, I was able to trade him when he went off, and was able to get Eckler, earlier in the year, I think week 2. And so I didn't have to worry about it. And last year I traded him in Dynasty. I had him on a rebuild team and was able to trade him for a first when he was going off to a contender. So that's my thoughts on Cordell Patterson. All right. And Jordan said, yes, he's in my IR. I assume that's Jamal Williams. So are you a Lions fan, Jordan? Or you just knew they were going to score a lot of points this bad? All right. So Dim Boy saying, got to get the kids in bed. Have a good show. And I hope I feel better soon. So appreciate that, Dim Boys. Surprised I'm not coughing. I think I'm just kind of going off adrenaline. Been in bed for the last 2 days. I know when I'm done, I'm going to be like I already kind of feel it in my throat. So I'll probably be wrapping up here soon. But yeah, I haven't even got to any of my stuff on my sheet. We've just been taking questions this whole hour, man. So I love it. Keep them coming. We got Mark in here. Is Eli Mitchell still going to be the main back when he comes back? Yeah, I mean, I think so. I think he'll definitely get a crack at it. It might be more of a split. They might try to keep him healthy. Lots changed since he went out. When he was running last time, we still had Trey Lance as a quarterback. So it's kind of tough. If I could sell Mitchell, put him in a package right now, I probably would. Just because, again, we don't know about his durability at this point. He would have been out for 2 months at that point. So does he have to get himself, back into game shape, this or that? Maybe does he come back early? A lot of question marks there. Again, whatever he's coming back to, Jeff Wilson shown he could be capable of taking this role. So, we'll see. I mean, it all depends on how he looks, when he gets back. So, we know Shanahan's going to play the better guy. He don't care how much you're getting paid or what your name is. It's who's producing. So, your guess is as good as mine, but it's tough. As far as fantasy goes, I would try to move off him if you can. Like right when he's about to come back and he's starting to practice, that's probably when his kind of peak value will be there. Someone, that maybe is losing a running back or just lost a running back, maybe you can capitalize on it. So Benny's saying, don't doubt it. And Rafi's saying, I hope not, because he has plenty of Jeff Wilson shares. So yeah. So Eli Murphy, it's been a while, my guy. What's up, Eli? Welcome back, man. Appreciate you joining us here. He's saying Elijah Mitchell will be the main back. He's young, and Jeff Wilson isn't as gifted. So, again, if he just comes back and he's better than Wilson, Shanny's going to play him and give him those opportunities and those touches. Either way, they're going to still be splitting with Debo. Debo does get a lot of those, I don't want to say like goal line looks, but, from like the 15 in, and we know he's capable of, punching it in from there. So, yeah. Blake Roberts, what's up, man? Debating starting Geno over Carr, Geno versus New Orleans, and Carr versus Kansas City. What do you think? I'm not there yet. I'm still taking Carr in Kansas City. We know they're going to have to throw. The passing volume for the Raiders has been up. I think he's thrown for over 30 times a game so far. That's just kind of going off the top of my head. I can look it up here, but maybe you guys can look that up for me. But, I'm still going Carr. That New Orleans defense is tough, man. That line's not very good. You got to deal with that New Orleans front seven in that front four. Give me the matchup against Kansas City. I mean, they're gonna have to throw. It's a rivalry game. There it is. Jay Media saying, I miss Mike. Yeah, man, I miss him too. But he'll be here on Friday when we do start sit. Thursday mornings he has to get up early and take his wife or fiance to the they're getting married next week. Congratulations, you too. But he takes her, I believe, to her physical therapy on Thursday mornings. So she's doing much better. And he'll be back here with us on Friday and then again with you on Sunday morning. So there it is. Eli saying, Derek Carr, no question. That game should be a shootout between the Chiefs. So, yep, agreeing with me there. We got Benny saying, should I grab Treylon Burks to stash? If you have a spot, definitely. I mean, if you don't really have a spot, I think he's fine, to kind of leave there. again, just depends on your build. But there's a handful of guys that who you thinking of dropping for Burks might be a better way to answer that. So Eli saying yes, Traylon's rookie and has great upside. He's very good, but the concern is his quarterback situation as well, and that team is run dominant. And yeah, their play action game works well. If they can get him acclimated to that, get Derrick Henry running again, kind of open up the box. Of course, he's seeing 8-man boxes. Tannehill's starting to play a little better. They're getting adjusted just to their new line, new offenses. Obviously, didn't they have, was it Taylor Lewan? I forgot who they had. Their right tackle that they missed, so they're still getting adjusted with that line. Their offense line kind of bad at the moment, but we've seen Tannehill produce. Um, I mean, Traylon's good. Again, just let me know who you're thinking of dropping. Over him right now. Again, he is hurt. You're not going to get him for a few weeks, dealing with that midfoot sprain. A little tricky. So it really would depend on who you have to drop. All right. So, he's just saying he just got dropped in his 12-man team. So, yep. So Eli's all on board there. You saw faith in Khalil Herbert. Yeah, as long as David Montgomery's out, Khalil Herbert is definitely a thing. You could start him this week. Who they got? Minnesota, I believe. I'd start him against Minnesota. It is Minnesota, right? Yeah. So against Minnesota, Minnesota's favored by 7, 44-point over/under. It's kind of right in the middle. They're expecting points. They're gonna feed Herbert, so he should get 20 touches. I'll take that. I'll find a way to get that in my lineup. Let's see. He'll get a portion of snaps, will be 35%. Be the main back when Monty gets back. Yeah, and I agree. I think Monty will be the main back when he gets back. So same situation happened last year with the Khalil hype, and they were saying he was going to take his job, but didn't. So yeah, he's going to get the job back. You can say the same thing with Eli Mitchell as well. Just depends on how does he hold up. So Fantasy Fish, what's up, man? How's it going? Appreciate you joining. Thanks for coming on. Any questions in here or help answer questions? Got your own podcast as well. Yeah, appreciate you stopping in here. Let us know what you got. So Eli here just saying what's up to everybody. So Ramondre is greater than Jeff Wilson. Ramondre is getting 60% snap share, and they're going against the Lions, who are giving up the most yards and points in the NFL. Yeah, but we all saw the usage that Damian Harris is still getting. I think it's not as much of a split between Wilson and Debo. I think Wilson going up against Carolina this week, regardless of all the snap shares and this and that. He could definitely there could be stats there for Ramondre. I just think Wilson is the more kind of guaranteed play. But if you're looking for some boom in your lineup out of that position, then absolutely. I don't think Ramondre is a bad start. I'm actually starting him as an RB2 in one of my hero RB Superflex teams this week. So I'm definitely starting him. If I had Jeff Wilson, I would start him over Ramondre in that spot. But yeah, he's definitely not a bad start. So especially in PPR, like Benny's saying, he does play the passing downs. We know that. So definitely not a bad start. All right. So let's see. They're just all talking about that. Eli's holding it down. Let's see. So we got Yardiver. You're gonna have to help me on that, Mr. Pata. I'll call you here. YP. We'll call you YP. He says trade away Sanders and Dobbs for Hall. In PPR, Dobbs is on his bench. So Miles Sanders and Romeo Dobbs for Breece Hall. To me, that's a little too much for where you drafted Sanders. I would just ride that out. That's great value. You didn't really invest much in Sanders, and you're getting great production out of it. Dobbs is up and coming, so he could potentially be that, number one receiver for the Packers, as we all keep trying to figure out who that's going to be week to week. I take my chances with the Sanders and Dobbs side of that. If you can get him to add something on the Hall side, maybe you throw in like a hurt Keenan Allen. And you can get Keenan Allen and Breece Hall. I'd like to see something like that. So let me know what other players this guy has on the roster as far as wide receivers go. And maybe there's something there you can add to make that even that up, more. I'm not opposed for getting Breece Hall, but again, you have a running back that is producing. I understand if you're willing to draft him, you're not like afraid of him, like other people were and just don't want to pick him. You know, oh, he didn't score a touchdown last year. We all knew that was not going to be the same this year as long as, he stayed healthy. He stayed relatively healthy so far. Will that last? I don't know. You could say the same thing, about Breece Hall, but of course he is younger, doesn't have that injury history, so I don't hate it. But I think Sanders is on a much better offense. They're going to score more. They might be up to where, they let him run out the clock a little more, but again, he does have the Hurts and, you know, Hurts and Gainwell kind of coming in and vulturing touchdowns here or there, which kind of stops him from being elite. But again, I would like another piece with that. So let me know. All right. So we got Blake in here saying Pickens or Rachaad White are still available on his waiver wire. I currently have Mixon, Cook, Herbert, and Zeke as his running backs, and Higgins, Sutton, Mike Williams for his wide receivers. Who would you grab off of waivers? So Pickens, Rachaad White are there. Are we dropping any of these guys for Pickens or Rachaad White? No. If those are all the guys you have that you're willing to drop for Rachaad White or Pickens, then I'm not. It would all depend on who you're trying to drop. If you have an open roster spot, I would take Rachaad White just because he's a running back. You're playing the position side of things. We still don't know about Pickens. I think DJ's still the man there. I think, Claypool's still going to have a role. I mean, unless Pickens takes over that role. Otherwise, probably go Rachaad White just as a handcuff role to Lenny. I mean, Pickens you might be able to start if you're looking for more like a flex, but if you're just looking for someone who can, give you the most potential value, I'd say it's White. Kind of beat the waiver wire. So YP's in here saying Schultz, Knox, or Hurst this week for PPR. Start sit. Schultz is kind of tough to start until Dak gets back. Haven't really been a Knox fan. So I think by default, I might have to go Hurst against Baltimore. I mean, we know they like to use their tight ends. It's going to be hit or miss. Obviously, we know with the weapons that Joe Burrow has, at his disposal. So it really just kind of depends on how you feel. But for me, if I had to rank them, I'd go Hurst, Schultz, and Knox. If Schultz was healthy, Schultz would for sure be the number one. I mean, if he comes back and he's saying he's full, Thursday, Friday practice, he's back to full and, not limited any way, shape, or form, then I'd switch it to Schultz, Hurst, and then Knox. So is what it is there. All right. So Eli saying, I honestly don't love that. Sanders has been great, but if you can get a decent wide receiver too, then it's worth it. So he was agreeing with me. Let's see. He's also saying Knox, he hasn't gotten a TD this year. It's due time. It's that time for that get right game, as we call it here on Get Right Fantasy Network. He gets a TD. So for those of you guys watching, man, if you're not subscribed already, make sure you hit that subscribe button for us. If you are already subscribed, hit that like button for me. It's just as good as subscribe. It helps us reach more people, gets us to show up in their feed while we're streaming live here so they can come join us. And again, the reason why that's so important and why you want to tell people about us is because we are going to be doing our 600 subscriber giveaway when we hit 600 subscribers. So all you need to do to enter the contest is be a subscriber. When we hit that 600 subscribers, we'll drop a video. All you need to do is watch that video to the end, find out what the hashtag is, go into the comments, drop the hashtag, and we will do a live comment picker. We'll probably give it about a week to get as many people in there as we can, and then we will give away the jerseys. So if you want a signed, autographed, verified Gabe Davis jersey, there's a picture of that bad boy right there, sitting on Mike's desk, waiting to go right into your front room or man cave or wherever you want to put it. So there you go. So hit that subscribe button for us. Let's get in there. All right, so we're going to take a couple more comments here, man, and then I'm going to call it a night. I appreciate you guys all coming out, man. So where were we here? If you got any last questions, make sure you drop them in there. So let's see. B-Net, what's up, man? What do you think of this trade? Garrett Wilson, Khalil Herbert, and Najee Harris for Cup and Paul. Yeah, just you had me at Cup. If you can get Cup for any of that, send it. Like that's a win. Like just Cup. Like you don't even have to add Pollard. You're getting Pollard on top of that. Done. I mean, Herbert's only good like we were talking about till Demont gets back. Naji has not produced right now, and we were taking Cup well ahead of Naji. And Garrett Wilson, you might have gotten off the waiver wire, or if it was a deeper, more competitive league, maybe you got drafted in the 11th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th round to get Cup. And he's still producing, and their offense isn't even hitting stride yet. Get him. Like, that's just a no-brainer. Go get him. So, yeah. Drunk Squidward, what's up, man? Not feeling too well today, even though I've been doing all right. I'm going to take a sip of water here, actually, guys. I've been talking for about an hour. My throat is so dry, but I've been trying to get to your guys' answers here. So give me 1 second. All right. Whew. Maybe I can go for a little bit longer now. So, yeah, Benny saying Cup was worth it. And Eli's even agreeing. That's an amazing trade if you're getting Cup, depending on your situation, and you get a top 3 receiver. Or you could just say top 1 receiver for underperformers with low upside. Get it done. Absolutely. So, yeah, BNEP, we were talking to you. So go get that done, man. Let us know. And there you go. All right, so we got Drunk Squidward in here saying, I just traded Jamal Williams for Zay Jones, a 2023 mid and 2024 mid second, and Justin Ross. I only did it because I have 4 Lions players. I have Swift and St. Brown already. Whew. That's tough, brother. I don't think I would have gave up Jamal Williams for anything more than a first. I think he went in the 107 with a torn ACL in rookie drafts this year. Easily worth a first-round pick. I mean, if you felt it was good, I would have waited it out till it actually started playing. Could have got a lot more value for him. Or when he was about to practice again, kind of would have that peak mystique value. I think he personally sold a little low. I love Justin Ross. I thought he would actually emerge this year. But of course, I got hurt. So I don't like it, brother. I don't like it. But hey, you felt like you had to do it. You definitely got quantity. Maybe didn't get the quality in return, but you got the quantity. And again, trades are only temporary. You never know. Williams could not come back. Maybe he's not the guy he was. So at least you turn it into something. And who knows? You can package these things up, these players, and see what you can get, when the dust all settles, so to speak. So, again, it's not bad, but I think you could have possibly got more. Just my opinion. I mean, I don't want to hate on your trade. I don't want to make you feel bad, but I think you sold a little low on that one. But either way. All right, so Benny said Pollard can be serviceable too, but Cup is the best you can get. Yeah, absolutely. So he said, it'll leave me with Mixon, Pierce, and Jeff Wilson at running back. Yep, do it. Do it now. Get it done. There will be more running backs that you can pick up off the waiver wire, especially when these bye weeks are happening. Guys are going to start dropping. Maybe go grab yourself a Brian Robinson who's, being activated. He'll be back in the next couple weeks. He should walk back into his number 1 job. So there's going to be options out there, man. Guys are going to get hurt. There's handcuffs out there. Running backs are a little more easier to replace as far as RB2s, go. If you can get like the number 1, like overall flex player, just overall non-quarterback in Cooper Kupp, you don't think twice about it. Just get it done. Yeah, everyone's agreeing, man. No matter what happens, it was the right choice. I mean, he could tear his ACL tomorrow, which we don't want. I'm sorry I even put that out there, but it's still a good trade as of right now. And then he said, yeah, you're set. Mixon, Pierce will hold down the fort, and you got a little bit of depth too. Tony Clark, what's up, brother? How's it going, man? Saying, hey, man, I apologize. You're just coming in, and I'm about to go out. Solo tonight. Not feeling great. Under the weather. Been home for 2 days from work. Going to try to make it in tomorrow. Feeling better than I did. I was actually in bed basically all the 2 days. Just these last couple hours of this day. Finally kind of trying to get myself up, moving around again. So I'm kind of going off adrenaline here. But it's definitely a lot of adrenaline and a lot more NyQuil, which I need to feel like I need to re-up on here. So kind of starting to burn out here, but I'll get to a couple more questions that I can. So we'll call it a night. So don't forget to set your alarms for the other London game this Sunday to avoid a last-minute inactives like a Kamara situation last week. Yes. Set your lineups. Make sure if you got guys that are questionable, in that game or had some potential risk going into it, make sure you get in that early, set it up, or talk to your commissioner, whatever you guys got to do to figure that out. But yeah, definitely remember we have a London game this week. And again, remember to get your starters out of the flex for tomorrow night's game, Indy versus Denver. All right. Drunk Sewer saying, I see you have the fall cold. Yeah. It's kind of when, I live out here in Palm Springs in the desert, man. So, like, when it switches and it starts to cool down just a bit at night and you got that AC going and the fan blasting on you because it's been 120 degrees for like the last 2 months, I think I just got like a little chill. Something happened, man. Woke up with a fever in the middle of the night. It was all bad. Couldn't get out of bed. And then pretty much all bed all day today until the last few hours, man. So, but I had to be here for you guys, man. I'm glad I came on. Glad I sucked it up. And we'll get through it. So let's see. Benny, choose two for the flex: Deontay, Singletary, Jacoby, or Rob Woods. Choose two for the flex: Deontay Johnson, I assume, Singletary, Jacoby, or Robert Woods. Give me Deontay and Singletary. Easy. Just traded Jonathan Taylor for Brees Hall and Harrison Butker in a 10-man PPR. Was this a good trade for me? Cardi 88? Nah, man. I don't think so. Not in a 10-man PPR, brother. So you could have definitely got more. Ooh, there come the coughs. See, you guys hear it there. It's brutal. Gonna have to cut this thing off short here, guys. Ooh. Ooh. I knew it was gonna catch up with me. All right. And I did get COVID tested and I'm negative, so it's just a regular cold. But yeah, man, sorry about that. I think you could have got more, for JT. That's sounding a little low, but you never know, man. Brees could definitely outproduce him the rest of the way. We've all seen these trades where at the time you're just like, why would you do that? And then at the end of the year, Brees Hall could easily outproduce Taylor. Taylor could get hurt, miss a couple more games. And, again, this is also why I'm against videoing trades. I mean, unless it's clear collusion, which is hard to prove anyway, it's just outrageous where someone's just unloading their whole team for one player. Like, other than that, like, if it's even semi-legit, like, hey, that's up to them. They paid their money. Like, is what it is. Like, if he was willing to give that up for that, then you should have been in his inbox shooting off offers. And maybe you could have got him instead of that guy. So, what's up, AJ? What's up, brother? Saying what's up, everyone. Make sure you get in that description and follow the Fantasy Frontline. We got AJ in the comments here. So I'm sure he'll give us 2 cents here for the rest of the stream. Can help me out. But yeah, so yeah, and we're all kind of saying, he's a stud, but I don't know. But yeah, so everyone's kind of saying, but it's not like a big fan. Like, we're not hating on it. Just no. I mean, I don't blame you, but it's just kind of a tough trade. So Eli's saying Rob Woods and Singletary. He's not confident in Deontay when Kenny Pickett's throwing the ball yet. So he'd like to go for the safer play. Makes sense. But also still take Deontay Johnson. Yeah, so if you traded JT to Brees Hall, you can get your season goodbye. Well, Eli, as we know from last year, he don't sugarcoat stuff. He's going to tell you straight up, and I appreciate that. Soraya, what's up, man? I'm 0-4 with Herbie, Naji, Cook, Amon-Ra, Jamar, Andrews, Aaron Jones, and Jacobs, Jamal, TJ Hawkinson on the bench. What should I do? It's just one of those things. One of those things, man. You got a good team. Just ran up against some bad matchups and just some bad situations. Like, what are you really going to improve? Like, with a nice team like that, there's not much you can do. It's just about managing. If you want to trade some guys up, make sure you do even trades. Don't just sell low on anybody. But if you just kind of want to mix things up, I definitely wouldn't trade Andrews. You want to keep that tight end advantage. He did have a down week last week, and obviously Amon-Ra was hurt. Hawkinson went off. Williams is there. You got kind of all those Detroit guys who are scoring points. So I'm sure it's probably just kind of been more of a management thing. So make sure you keep coming here with us on Fridays and Sundays. We do our start sits, actives, and inactives Sunday morning right before. So if you have any last minute questions, let us know. We can help you with that. But it's kind of tough. When you have all that talent, sometimes you could package those up and get guys where you can set it and forget it. Like, maybe if you want to try to find someone like if you want to trade Naji, excuse me, Maybe Naji and one of these other guys, maybe for maybe like Naji and Jacobs for like Derrick Henry and somebody else, like another receiver, you know, something like that. Otherwise, I think you just got to stay the course, man, and just see if things start to even themselves out. Come back in 1 or 2 weeks. If you're 0-5, you obviously got to make a move next week, and just try to change something up. Otherwise, it just kind of sometimes like you have good players, they just don't put the right weeks together that you needed, or you're just in a bad matchup. Those kind of things happen. Sometimes it's out of your control, and it sucks. Like there's just no other way to put it, man. It sucks because that's a fire team. I mean, that's tough, man. You got a good team. All of those guys have pretty much gone off, except for Naji. Cook hasn't been, that crazy, but Jones and Jacobs have had their games. Williams had a good game last week, so I understand why you're in that issue. All right, so we got YP in here, and I'm going to end it soon, you guys, but I just can't say no to these questions. He said YP says trade away Sanders, Schultz, and Dobbs for Hall and Goddard. No, I'll take 3. He has Hurts if that matters. I'll take Sanders, Schultz, and Dobbs. Still, I mean, yeah, I mean Sanders running behind a much better line. Schultz should be fine when Dak comes back, or even just once he kind of gets a little more healthy. I mean, if you really need a guy right now, I mean, I guess Goddard, but like, I'd rather package all those guys up and try to get like Andrews and like Singletary or something. Like, take a little hit on that RB2, really upgrade that tight end position if you want. It's just tough. The guys that draft Andrews and Kelsey, they know the advantage they're getting, so it's kind of hard to get those guys off of them. You'd have to come with a really good package. So, I'd personally stay Sanders, Schultz, and Dobbs. But if you want to do it, again, go ahead. Mix things up, especially if you're not feeling your team and you feel like you need to mix up. I don't think you're losing the trade. I don't think it should take Dobbs to get it done. I mean, Sanders and Schultz should be able to get that done. If not, you might want to try to keep Dobbs in that deal or get him to throw something else in. That's just me. That's why they call me the dentist. Yeah, Booker's basically nothing. We're talking about that. Trying to sell high on Aaron Jones and Hawkinson and then try to get an upgrade. So, yeah, that's a possibility, like we said. And, yeah, I do that trade. Sanders, honestly, I think he's getting Brees in a better tight end. So, Eli says, yes, do it. I'm on the no side. Wish we had somebody else in here, too. Maybe break the trade. Do I trade? We have Mooner N in here. What's up, man? Do I trade ETN for Penny? I got Ken Walker, and he has Robinson, half PPR. I like these kind of trades. You're kind of just handcuffing each other's guys and vice versa. You kind of have your guy. I like to do this more so as the trade deadline happens. Like going into the playoffs, I'd rather have the handcuff to one of my guy because you don't have to worry about bye weeks and things like that. Because you might even having to drop somebody you don't want to drop or forcing another 2-for-1 or some type of trade like that because it's so early. We haven't even hit bye weeks yet, guys. So you don't want to kind of do a lot of these crazy trades, like not like crazy, but like these kind of like more playoff setup trades. Like this is what I like to do at the end of the year. Like I like to try to get my handcuffs for my running back so that I know if my guy goes down, like I don't have to worry about where I'm at in the waivers. Like I know I have that next guy because I got to win 3 games to get the championship. So I would do the trade, just not right now. But again, it's not bad. I mean, at least you're giving the handcuff for Penny, who's been producing, and you do have Walker. So again, you're on the better side of that trade. Like he has the 2 starters. Maybe you do it because he's willing to trade it right now. It's tough, man. It's either way. It just depends on how you feel about handcuffing and when to handcuff. So it is what it is. Good luck. Let me know what you do. Mark Andrews, James Conner for Saquon and Pitts. I was gonna say yes because of Saquon, but no, man, I'm staying away from Pitts. That's such a downgrade. You're losing so much positional advantage. I think it's such a big drop from Andrews to Pitts versus Saquon to Conner. I mean, there's definitely a gap there, but Conner's been hurt. They're going to get D-Hop back. I'd still roll my dice with Conner. I'm sure he's your RB2. Like I was just kind of saying before, Nick, if you drafted Andrews, you know the advantage like he brings. Don't let that one game kind of deter you. I mean, this guy is the tight end too. if not one. Like, don't trade him. And if you are, don't take Pitts back. Like, if anything, like to me, just Andrews is one of those untradeable guys. There's a handful of guys that for me are untradeable: Cooper Kupp, Mark Andrews, Travis Kelsey, and basically that's it. Justin Jefferson. That's who I was saying. Like, those guys should be untradeable. Like, Jamar Chase is right on that line right now. Like, I don't think he's untradeable. He's been one of the kind of most traded guys in the last week or two. But like, those four or five guys, like, I'm just not trading them. You just have too much positional advantage there. So again, as it is. Just what we're saying, no way you're 0-4 with that lineup. Yeah, that's what I was saying. That's crazy. So let's see. Got everyone here. Eli's just answering some questions in there. How do you feel about trading away Lamb and Hollywood for Brees and Jamar? I need an elite running back after losing Javonte. This kind of trade I'm all for, man. We'll definitely trade away Hollywood and Lamb for Brees and Jamar. This is a great trade. Could work for both teams. This guy, Brees, probably was an RB3 on his team. Obviously, he's not feeling Jamar, likes what he sees in Hollywood and Lamb. To me, this is a come up. It works for both teams for what it looks like. If you're getting this offer, hit accept. I wouldn't try to negotiate or anything, especially that you lose Javonte. You're getting a nice little replacement. The fact that someone's willing to give you a running back right now, and you're getting an elite, wide receiver one option that could literally just win you a week, any week. Yeah, I mean, that's a yes for me. So there you go. And Eli agrees with me on that one. And you win that trade by a landslide. So absolutely. Absolutely. All right. So keep them coming here, guys. I'm going to just kind of get caught up and then call it a night. Jamar Chase, this is the only chance you can trade for him because of the slump. Yep. So again, he's one of those, like I said, that's why he's right on that borderline where people are willing to move him. So those are the guys I'm trying to get. Those elite players that would normally be untradeable. If there's a window to get them, you go get them. Just like JT right now. Sanders, he's in a way better offense. So I think that was just a follow up. And finally, I am caught up with the chats, man. Arok in here saying, appreciate you guys. Get some rest. Hope I feel better. I am, man. It was kind of rough going there. I feel it in my throat again. So I'm just going to try to get through this. I appreciate you guys coming in here, man. I hope you guys hit that subscribe button for me. If you have hit the subscribe button, hit that like button for me. And when you do, make sure you hit that expand the description. Make sure you join our sleeper community. Make sure you're in there. That's when you're going to get our injury updates, a lot of information about the channel, what's going on, leagues, everything you can get into, post screenshots of your team. And we can go into a lot more detail on there than we can here on the show. So make sure you do that. It's a direct connection with myself and a lot of other great minds here in the channel and in the network. So make sure you do. And other than that, man, I'm gonna get out of here, man. Get some sleep. Try to get to work tomorrow, and do the damn thing. Let's see. I'm a sucker for another question. So we got Panda in here. Appreciate it if you've subscribed with us, man. I won't end it without getting to your channel here. Start 2. Hines, Woods, Cooper. Give me Hines and Cooper. Still not. I mean, over those guys, give me Hines, give me Cooper. No JT this week. Give me Hines and Cooper. So there he is. Eli saying, my only hard choice this week is starting Ramondre or Dobbins. I'd say that's tough. I know earlier you were saying you're big on Ramondre this week. He is going up against that Bears defense, which kind of a little bit of Swiss cheese there. You just got to worry about Damian Harris. Could get some PPR points. I'll take the guy who's getting the majority of the work out of Baltimore. I'd probably go Dobbins over Ramondre this week and kind of live with the result. But like I said, I am starting Ramondre in a couple leagues as my RB2. So it's what it is. All right, man. Eli saying, hope you feel better. I love you. Love you too, man. Love all you guys. Appreciate you for coming here, supporting. Later, guys. Good luck, everyone. YP's trying to squeeze in one more question. I respect it. Trade away Miles Sanders for Keenan Allen or trade away Miles Sanders and Keenan Allen for Higgins and Waller. I'd say nah. Nah. I'll take Sanders and Allen still. Take my chances there in a full PPR. All right. So on that note, I'm going to wrap it up right here. Again, got that underdog in the corner here, wherever that is. Make sure you use that promo code GETRIGHT when you do, underdogfantasy.com. They'll match your deposit up to $100, 100% match. Get in that best ball resurrection. Get in their daily pick'ems. They're there. Rivalry picks. It's a lot of fun. Other than that, man, again, make sure you get in that description. Join our sleeper channel. And when you're in there, make sure you go down there. Subscribe to our affiliate channels. We got the Check Down podcast. We got WAGMI Fantasy. And we got the Fantasy Frontline joining us. So make sure you subscribe to their channels as well. Get those notifications on so you can see when they drop their content. You can always find it here on Get Right Fantasy, but make sure you throw them a sub as well. So other than that, man, for all of us here on Get Right, I just want to say thank you guys and good luck. Get those starts in. For tomorrow, again, pull your guys out of the flex. Make sure they're in a regular position spot. Little PSA. So on behalf of Classic Mike, on behalf of Dustin, on behalf of Fish and Frank, and for those of you guys who don't know, I'm Anthony, aka Rasta. And again, this is Get Right Fantasy Network. So with that all said, we can roll those sleeves down. And we'll see you guys on Friday, 8 p.m. for our Start Sit episode. Peace out.